Yeah, B slightly flat, which makes the E slightly flat. Now that's sharp. But tuning, I'd actually have to shave some of the bridge saddle. Like I literally could do that. I literally could like grind off some of the bridge saddle. That's all the way tight. That's all the way tight. Well, one thing I could do is lower it, but it's kind of low. And plus, I like the high action on that low one, so I could get that little boom, but at that delayed time, you know. Yeah, it is subjective, but there's an issue there. You know, I mean, that saddle is like, bam. It's like right up against the bridge. I literally could grind it off. I could do that. I'm fixing it, tighten it as tight as it possibly humanly can go, and then always pull the string and then tune up, right? Tune down, then pull the string. It's way, way better. But um, I'm going to call this video tuning is with a little accent there. Uh, Subjective. I want my children back. Valentina Di Tommaso says my children don't exist. They also said my house didn't exist. They also said I was delusional and my car was never stolen as they arrested me and put me in a mental asylum as someone drove my car away to supposedly to Knoxville, Tennessee, and before that for 30, 40 something thousand miles on my car. Well, almost 40,000 miles whilst I was incarcerated in a solitary confinement being tortured, denied cleaning supplies, denied laundry with feces, ejaculate, and urine, denied a phone call, denied recreation, being fed through a hole in the door, people pressing their thumb in my food. I remember that. I remember Larry. Larry was jailhouse traumatized, you know. Pushed his thumb in my cornbread like that, you know, to exert his like trusteeism, right? I said, bro, did you push your thumb in my cornbread, bro? And he told the CEO, and Larry's a boxer, you know. I was scared as hell, you know. And he said, open that cell right now. He told the CEO, and I was like, bro, if he opens that door, lock it behind him, biatch. You know, I said a bad word. I said a bad word. God forgive me. I might not have said a bad word, but I was like on the edge of saying lots of bad words. So I said, lock that slap behind him, bro. And then Larry started laughing. I said, I don't care if you is a pro boxer, bro. You better lock the door behind you, bro. Cause I'm finished, bro. I want my children back, bro. You got me on the edge, bro. Last time they hit me in the face, they grabbed me by the ankles, they yanked me out of the bunk, bro. It was horrible, bro. And then they tried to get me to confess guilty so that they wouldn't put me back in there to fist fight, you know. So I said, bring Larry in, but lock him, bro. Lock him till we become friends, you know. So he starts laughing. And then Boxer Larry, he starts bringing me coffee every day. That slap was scary as hell, bro. Because Boxer Larry, he outweighs me by like 60 pounds, maybe 70 pounds, bro. I mean, he's like solid muscle, bro. And he's a trained boxer, bro. But, you know, would you stick in your thumb in my food, bro? And then he goes, I like you, bro. And I said, well, I will accept that coffee, you know. Cause I was like in a torture, man, in a torture, bro. They were torturing me, bro, and they made sure I knew whose feces it was because it had string in it, you know. And these dudes used to eat string, bro, so that their feces would hang out. I mean, they were like, you know, sick so and so's, bro. They made sure I recognized that cell because I had to paint the cracks in the floor when I worked in there when I was incarcerated whilst drugged and hypnotized during SRA, satanic ritual abuse. You know, I don't like to call it SRA because it's kind of a desensitization. But, all right, so there it is. That's the best I can intonate it. And you can see I'm totally bottomed out here. I actually removed the spring. I removed the spring. I taped it to the thing with the screws and everything, and I wrote on the back of the pick guard. I wrote, you know, Honer Pro and screws and saddle spring because I, you know, had to take the saddle spring out. I had to take it out. So it's a lot closer. It's a lot closer, you know. All this counting numbers, ye saw number one. So the end of work is brighter than the sun. Clarity recall, and the morning is cool, but still like a mirror. loving the works of hand, knowing the work of spirit, reviving the body of his dream. So it's way better intonated. Of course, I wasn't playing on that low string. That's my problem child there. I'm going to have to take that saddle off and literally grind it if I just put these strings on it. That was part of the deal. I bought a $60 resale value guitar for $120 on the condition that you throw in a nickel plated set of tens, because that's what I play. Technically, I play Fender heavy tens with the heavy bottoms, which are they pull that neck like the truss rod's like, oh help me, but it has different sound, for the bang, boom, boom, boom. These feel very light. See, it almost needs to be like tens just for my style, because even in full tuning, the nines are either going to break or they're going to sound so thin and pinchy because I you know pull at the strings and I slap on the strings. So tens are a minimum for me almost, but usually the Fender heavy gauge tens, which are three heavier bottoms than usual. But let's see how tuned it kept. It seemed like that one went sharp, right? Weird. Maybe they all rest of them went down. I don't know. We'll have to play back those tapes. So they need the higher action to get that right there. Like, I don't need it, but I want it, you know? This guitar would sound better with more, maybe a little taller frets that are like maybe a little more resonant. I don't know what kind of metal this is. Maybe this is like, like maximum non fretwear metal, but maybe something that does actually fretwear would sound better. I don't know. I don't know about metallurgy. And then a different nut here as well. What is that? Dark black plastic, which is a very soft plastic, non-fragile, non-breakable. It's kind of sound dampening, but the breakable the breakable nuts actually sound better. So that's that. I'm done. Put a fork in, flip it over, pull the plug. Merry Christmas. I miss my children. I love you very much. I love you so, so much. I know the language that I use is the least that you've ever heard in your satanic upbringing. So I'm just gonna leave it how it is. Guitar sounds pretty sweet, for a child's toy. It's short scaled. Doesn't even have that. If you're playing an E, right? Doesn't even have that top fret. It's only what, 20 frets, not even 21 frets, I guess. I don't know. I did count, but I forgot. Let's see. Let's take a look. Let us see, shall we? Let us, no let, just do. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. It does have 21 frets, but I can install a little fret there. I could actually do that. That would be kind of funny. I'll show you something. I'm gonna put this up real quick. I I fixed it. I put a string tree on it, because the nut is filed somewhat level or a little less than level, and the strings are buzzing out. And this guy walks past me on the sidewalk, and you know he's a homeless guy, and esteem what they think and they say a lot. And he's like, "Ah, that sound is horrible. I can't stand that sound." I think it was something personal, but now this guitar, if you listen, way mature tone, but this is like a super hard wood here with a hard finish and a longer scale, way longer scale. So what's it got? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4. 24 frets, bro. So So this guitar here, and yes, I had no guitar. I was going through extreme guitar withdrawal. And I found my stolen guitar and I sold it and I bought this guitar and I bought that $60 guitar for 120 with a pack of extra strings just because I was looking at it. That was my original intention and I stumbled across this one. So I'm listening and I said, "You know something? I put Metallica, Nothing Else Matters, which is a Black album, which is related to Glenn DePauw's family with the first BMX bike that he left in the woods in the bushes. It was a Moto Mag, the very first one ever that started it all." And he said, "No, that's where I want it. Don't touch it. Leave it there." And now there's like feral cats being fed there. So like there was something sad that happened there, but that had to do with BMX. But this guitar, yeah, because there was a couple different albums, Metallica albums, some related to the Rich Gillen family, some related to the Glenn DePaul family, and maybe the Dan Sebesta family, including Shortest Straw, Down by Liberty, Challenge Law, Live in Infamy, Shortest Straw has been pulled for you, right? But then there was the Black Album, what had a song, which is a reference to Spinal Tap. The album cover is entirely black, just black, right? Which is a reference to Fran Drescher, which is a reference to Tracy Lords, which is a reference to my childhood. So, I mean, connect the dots, la la la, which is a reference to Pee Wee Herman, which is a reference to Sid Ra, which is a reference to pornography, which is a reference to Kayla Nicole Bennett, which is relation to my oldest daughter's name, exactly letter for letter, first, middle, and last. Anyway, so this guitar, listen to this. Hear that? Now, if I fret it, it doesn't do that, but because of the way it lays in the nut. Now, if I was to push, but it took out the tone. You know, I put a string tree, I drilled a little tiny little hole here, and I put the string tree, and I was like, no way, bro! It just like destroyed the tone. All right, there's a nut issue there. It needed to be filed backwards, which was not, which would need to change the nut or refill an angle. But then I started listening to it, you know. And you know, I got ears like a hamster, man. I mean, I'll be honest. I got eyes like a bat and ears like a hamster, bro. So I'm listening and I'm like, wow. So I type in, I'm like, you know, Metallica, uh, isolated, uh, what's it called? Oh yeah, Nothing Else Matters, right? So I'm listening and I don't know how it goes, but you can hear that the last two strings totally chorus, right? The E more so, right? And there's no chorus effect on there. It's the guitar doing it, right? Which actually sounds cool. And I was like, man, I pulled the string tree back off because number one, here's the little hole right here. Number one, it was dampening the tone. Number two, I'm like, wow, bro, that makes like how many famous guitars that I've stumbled across, right? I saw that Jimi Hendrix photo was not maybe not Jimi Hendrix's doppelganging brother, but the actual Jimi Hendrix, which is a CKS, right? And I had that gold copper top colored Dan Electro. I mean, I had like a lot of famous stuff, and I remember when Michael Perry stole my studio. He ran up to Lightning Bob, which was one of Larry Lewis's doppelgangers, which related to the 36 Chambers, which related to the Wu Tang Clan, which related to Santana and Hendrix and many, oh yeah, Grand Funk Railroad, many famous recordings, right? And yeah, Steve Miller Band, a lot of famous stuff. And then he ran up to Lightning Bob with that guitar with the brass nut and the brass bridge, and he's like, "Bro, look what I got!" And, he never paid me for it. He totally stole it, but which I will say about that Nothing Else Matters, if you listen to the isolated track and it genuinely is real and it's not some live alternate podcast bullcrap. Sorry, excuse my language. My children will be listening. Bull spit version. That's it's very great guitar playing. Which is also why the real Dan Sebesta, right, who's related to the Alfalfa from the Little Rascals, which is banned, right? But he came back to me like the next day for the same reason my little brother told me it wasn't him who busted up my house. He came back to me. He's like, "Bro, I need to buy that guitar back like immediately." And I was like, "Yeah, all right, bro. Why?" He's like, "Just don't ask questions. Just give it back. Give it back." Had that little smoky amp. You can't find those anymore. It's illegal. You know, had the little smoky amp, and it had the I don't know what it was. It was like a Masonite guitar. I forget what kind it was. It was like real low end. But that's a lot of famous recordings are recorded on very low end guitars. Or cobbed together Frankenstrats. you know. Yes, I changed the knobs on this because the knob fell off and they're like actually really old. Like, you know, according to the clock, 1950s, 1960s knobs. So they're like really old and the plastic crusted out and it broke on the inside and fell off. And rather than glue it on, I just put on these modern ones where I don't care if they fall off. And I put the old ones in the tray because those old knobs to a collector are worth more than the whole guitar. So that's a Keith Sebesta laugh. That's Keith is Keith. He's just Keith, right? That's Keith Sebesta laugh right there. That's where I learned that one from. But there was more than one. Hear that last string chorus? I see this action's a lot lower, and you can see my ticka wow, that works. But you know, the whole hammer on of the whole bar chord doesn't ticka as well because the action's so close, right? So tuning and setup is subjective. You know, the whole feeler gauge, credit card thing, tuner, nut, intonation is subjective to how the person plays. I remember I talked to a piano tuner one time. This was really interesting. And I said, man, you couldn't possibly disagree that in a different room, a perfectly tuned piano up against a certain wall with a certain audience, with a certain carpet or non-carpet, and objects on the walls, and an arena and a space and seating and people, and you know is subjective. It's subjective, man. You could bring in a perfectly tuned piano and then check it with a spectrometer or, oscilloscope, and then go to play it. You know, maybe even with two different players. It's completely subjective. It's completely subjective, bro. So, I mean, there's an objective and a subjective part to intonating and tuning. And what is you know, a bad sound or a good sound. Like that guy's like, I can't stand the sound. Maybe he has something personally against Metallica, but that's where I recognized it right away. I was like, wow, man, that's exactly what it's doing on Nothing Else Matters. So anyway, there it goes. Have a nice Christmas. I miss my children. I want my children back. Valentina Di Tommaso says my children don't exist. She said, and I quote, do not go there. We're not going to do this again, Michael. No one in our program, I emphasized Michael because she did that to be spiteful. No one in our program has children. What kind of program am I in? I'm being tortured. I lost my house. I lost my children. I lost my car. I lost my vehicle. I lost my business. Check Better Business Bureau. Beautiful renovations. A plus, no issues, no complaints, no issues. I had perfect standing with the Better Business Bureau. And no, I didn't do that mafia thing where you could buy $365 sticker to put on your car to say that you were a accredited member of the Better Business Bureau. I actually, had good standing. Was I a perfect person? No. Did I do perfect work? No. But was I a legitimate businessman doing the right thing the best that I could? And if I mess something up, go out and buy a new one at my own cost on my own time? Yes, absolutely. I had my own truck, I had my own tools, and these people put me in a mental asylum and listed me as guardian ad litem, mental retardation, which is my first diagnosis. Of course, they didn't call me that this time. They called me psychotic, delusional, paranoid, schizophrenic, which is everything in the entire book. So, anyway, I'm not going to get aggravated. I'm done. Flip me over, put a fork in me. Uh oh, it's overcooked. God bless America. I'm tired of these people trying to get a feel up under me. They call it a tickle file. Why do they call it a tickle file? Why do they call keeping a dossier, docket, jacket, folder, profile, referendum? I don't even know what referendum means. On somebody, why do they call it a tickle file? Because this is what they're all about, bro. They're freaking pervert, sex addict, masturbating child molesters, bro. And yes, my children can hear this because they need to know. They need to know, man. They need to know. People need to live in absolute freedom from harm, bro. And not be told that they're narcissistic, that they're perverted, they're disgusting, they're delusional, they're hurting people's feelings for telling the truth, bro.